I'm going all the way there to my bookshelf. Raw Shark Texts, which some people call The Poor Man's House of Leaves. It's a metafiction book as well, which I talked a little bit about earlier. Tim Hall. This is a cool slipcase with 3 Tim Hall books. This is actually what really got me interested in doing handmade slipcases for people. You'll see some in my previous videos. I talk about me hand making things for giveaways and such. And he was the guy who really had me start doing that. So, and he's also a great guy. I've met him many times. I would consider him a friend. Very cool stuff. Definitely pick up his stuff if you get a chance. I'm going to keep going. The Real Ultimate Power Official Ninja Handbook, I think it's called, the Official Ninja Book. There's a site, realultimatepower.net, super funny site. It's been around for a while, though I don't know if it's really continuing to exist in terms of having new content. But this is a book written by the guy who created that site, and it's surprisingly good, heartwarming, kind of, not heartwarming, but it's a story with heart. The site is 100% comedy. It's all about just making people laugh. The book is the same thing, but there's a subtext to it that actually makes you kind of feel for the persona of this 13-year-old kid named Robert Hamburger, who's the main character, I guess you could say, of the book. So I don't know, very interesting. If you like to laugh, go to that site, realultimatepower.net. If you like that site, get the book. It's really interesting. I'm gonna keep going here. Catch 22. Super good if you haven't read that. One of the best. I'd call it dystopian, sure. It's not dystopian in the sense that a lot of YA books are dystopian these days, but it is dystopian in a sense, and really funny too. So definitely pick that up if you find it. Amy Hempel, if you love language, if you love stories that utilize language in really interesting ways, pick up an Amy Hempel book. You cannot go wrong. Her stuff is I don't know, it's unbelievable. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, that I'm just saying something's good and then passing it over, but this video is already way too fucking long. Gordon Highland, a good friend of mine, lives right down the street from me, actually. Both of those books, amazing books. Major Inversions and Flashover, pick those up. God, I'm just adding to your to-read list here. Tom Waits, I won't dwell on Tom Waits, because if I do, this video is going to be much longer than it already is. He is my music god, so I love him. And let's see, let's keep going. My favorite book probably of 2012 right here, The Orphan Master's Son, by Adam Johnson. His story collection, Emporium, one of the first books that really made me want to be good at writing. Not the first book that made me want to write, but the first book that kind of made me want to really take it seriously. It's just such a good, strong collection. Keep moving on down the line here. We've got, Stephen Graham Jones. Look at all these books by this dude. Nice little story about Stephen Graham Jones. The first time I met him, actually, it was when I was buying this book, Bleed Into Me. It was at an AWP conference in Austin, Texas, I believe, and I lied right to his face. He was basically, he was part of an online community of writers and readers called The Velvet, which doesn't really exist all that in any true sense anymore. And I told him at the time that, yeah, sure, I was part of The Velvet as well, just really trying to, be interesting to him in some way. He asked what my username was. I gave him the username Thirsty Gerbil, just out of nowhere. And so then immediately after meeting him, had to find a computer at a hotel somewhere. It was like a motel a mile from the convention center, and hurry up and set up an account under the name Thirsty Gerbil. And my first post on that site, which was called welcometothevelvet.com, was basically me bitching about the fact that my username had somehow been taken away, and all my posts had been stripped, really trying to build up the facade that I actually existed on that site for a while. But I've since come clean. He knows that I was lying at the time, but it was all for good. It was to impress him. So oh man, Phil Jordan's Praise of Motherhood. Get this book. I mean, it's so good. It's a memoir of sorts about a guy who is missing has lost his mother. It sounds cheesy, but God, it's so good, and it's written in such a narrative style, and it touches on so much more than just loss. It touches really on how it's affected the guy, Phil Jordan. I don't know. It's worth reading for sure. Let me keep moving here. Nik Korpon, he is great author. Nik Korpon, he's one of the guys on my on the same publishing house label that I am. He was actually on a previous publishing house called Otherworld Publications, and has since moved over to Perfect Edge Books, where I am as well, where Stranger Will is actually just re-released. I think this book, Stay God, is actually going to be re-released through Perfect Edge as well. Definitely worth picking up once it is released. It's really good. It takes place in Baltimore. It's kind of a dirty, gritty Baltimore noir kind of book. Pick it up. Keep going here. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, he's really good. I like his short stories more than his novel. His most famous novel probably is this, 100 Years of Solitude, which was all right. I enjoyed it, definitely, but I think his fiction is really where it's at. His short fiction is magical realist in nature, so that basically means it's realism that has magical elements, and the magical elements are generally treated as just everyday occurrences to the people affected by them. So there's a story, for example, called A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings. The story is about a very old man with enormous wings, and the enormous wings aren't necessarily treated as so strange. The people seem to be more interested in the fact that there's this very old man that exists. Really close to actually Aimee Bender. If we go back up here, I didn't really mention Aimee Bender much, but her collection right there, Girl in the Flammable Skirt, she has quite a few other books out as well. Same kind of way, except Aimee Bender is obviously American. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I believe, is Mexican, maybe? I probably am not saying that. That's probably not true. He currently lives, as of the publication of this, in Mexico City, so I can assume I may be right.